as well as separate FDLE results from the Buckley home suggesting Mr. Whitaker's DNA is inside that house, correct?
That's correct.
And then finally, you articulate Mr. Varner's claim that Leroy Whitaker was not just in that car, but that he was supposedly participating, correct? And that is what made the difference for you to file for a murder arrest warrant, right?
Yes, at that time.
Clock in. Black Gotta just walked in. Team Black Gotta stand up, man. Yo, we back with another video with Ksoo and ATK Scotty. All right, guys, it's officially day 5, and this right here are what I feel is the key moments of what took place in court on day 5. Now, we all see day 4 had to been the toughest day to watch of the trial because we actually got to witness a dad literally testify against his son, and the emotions was through the room. It was so crazy, it was so intense, and we all know this is one of the wildest cases so far of this whole year, man. And it's probably one of the wildest cases I've seen in a minute. I ain't gonna lie to you. But so far, I feel like the state has been doing a great job with proving that these crimes could have been actually committed by Ksoo and ATK Scotty. But I also want to say Ksoo's attorneys and Scotty's attorneys are doing their best to make them look innocent. And as a matter of fact, Ksoo's looking extremely innocent in some areas, but it's just certain gray areas where it's like, hold up, like why you did that? Why this happened? And I feel like today's video is gonna answer a lot of questions. And as a matter of fact, today's video is what I can say one of the videos that put ATK Scotty in a different light, because so far from this whole trial, I feel Scotty has been going through it. It's been so many things that makes it almost impossible for Scotty to say, nah, that wasn't me. It's one thing when people just assuming stuff, but it's another when the person that was allegedly with you is saying you was with them, and on top of that, your DNA is being found in other people's houses. The getaway driver that picked y'all up is admitting he came and picked you up, and actually admitting he went and burnt the clothes that you took out of somebody else's house. Like, that's just crazy work. But today we got some information that could potentially put ATK Scotty in a better situation. Right now, one of the key witnesses of today's trial day is actually the same officer who interrogated Dominique Barner and got him to consider even testifying against ATK Scotty and Ksoo.
That's fine. Okay. I'm here to talk to you about the murder of Charles McCormick. It's a recording. It goes on for like that for about an hour, about 2 hours.
Somebody won't wire on me.
All right.
Now, as y'all can see, I just showed y'all a clip of the initial interrogation of Dominique Barner when he was first picked up and charged with home invasion. They actually did so well in the interrogation room, they got Dominique Barner to fold and switch on his mans, Leroy Whitaker and Ksoo. First clip I'm gonna show y'all is the fact that when they were initially investigating this whole situation, it was hard for them to even get information on ATK Scotty. They couldn't open his phone, and they actually didn't even initially charge him. And when it comes to Ksoo, the female that came up and testified that she actually picked him up from the apartments, they couldn't even map her location. So a lot of this case was built up off of people giving information. When it came to the phone, they couldn't get in Leroy's phone, and when it came to the female phone that picked up Ksoo, they didn't even have her location for real. So it was actually the witness that seen Ksoo getting picked up who helped find her, and it led to this whole case.
I asked if the results that he was given by the FBI in terms of mapping, did that assist him with his investigation and corroborate what he was doing?
Clarification, bolster.
Overruled.
You can answer.
Yes, it did.
Now, when Leroy Whitaker was detained in Georgia, were there any cell phones that were actually collected by the East Point Police Department as well?
Yes.
And were there multiple cell phones?
Yes.
During your investigation, were you able to eventually take possession of those cell phones and bring them back to Jacksonville?
I was.
And did you obtain search warrants authorizing you to attempt to download those devices?
Yes.
Now, Is that something that could be done relatively quickly, or does it sometimes take time?
Sometimes it takes time.
Did it take time for some of the devices in this case?
Yes, I think the last one broke earlier this year.
And is that because you did not have the password or code to get into the devices?
That's correct.
And who actually would have done the examination of the devices that you submitted?
A computer forensics analyst or detective.
Okay. Now, the phones that they were able to get into, were you provided a copy of the data obtained from those cell phones?
Yes.
And did you have an opportunity to go through the data associated with those devices?
Yes.
Was a phone that was using 904-803-3671, the phone number you identified as being used by Leroy Whitaker, was that phone ever found?
No.
Was a cell phone for 478-305-9583 ever found?
No.
Did you recover a cell phone that was using phone numbers identified as belonging to Abdul Robinson Jr., the 904 624-3684, as well as the 478-491 and 2831?
Yes.
Did you also identify a phone using Abdul Robinson Sr.'s number, 904-866-2370?
Yes.
Were any phones that were being used by Hakeem Robinson identified?
Yes.
For what phone number?
It was the 904-704-1595 number and the 904-704-8910.
And was the account for the 904-704-8910 activated after the murder of Charles McCormick?
I believe so, yes.
Now, as part of your investigation, did you also become familiar with someone named Natalie Gant?
Yes.
Were you able to identify her phone number?
Yes.
All right. And what was that phone number?
It was a 904-485-7529 number.
Did you obtain cell phone records with her identified phone number?
Yes.
And did you submit those records to FBI to see if there was anything that they could map?
Yes.
Was there anything mappable?
I don't believe so.
It's hard work trying to build up a case, especially when people aren't saying much. And then once people start saying a whole lot, that's when the case becomes a little bit more smoother, and that's when a lot of information becomes accessible to detectives. Because at the beginning of this, they had not much on Leroy Whitaker. ATK Scotty was basically in the clear at the beginning until things became real clear that he was actually the second suspect on scene. So let's play the cross-examination of ATK Scotty's lawyer questioning how did he even become a suspect in the case.
The reason I didn't get his iCloud was his cell phone records come with an IMEI number. I ran through an IMEI checker. That IMEI did not come back to an iPhone, so I could not subpoena Apple for that IMEI.
Did you ever sit down with Dominic Barner and talk to him about his iCloud, his social media accounts, how to log in to his social media accounts so that you could review?
I don't believe he had any social media accounts at the time that we were able to identify.
Your belief as we're sitting here today is that he just didn't have any social media?
Not that I was made aware of, no.
Okay. Did you ask him?
Not that I specifically can recall right now.
Okay. Because if you did ask him, you'd probably make a note of it, right?
Yes,
And you did write a very detailed report in this case, did you not?
I did.
Okay. And you'd agree with me, in that report, you do not mention attempting to or inquiring anything in regards to Dominic Barner's iCloud, correct?
That's correct.
Now, in that August 27th meeting, Dominic Barner does give you something you didn't have before. And that is, he claims Leroy Whitaker was a full part of this murder, right?
That's correct.
Before August 27th of 2020, you didn't have any evidence besides Barner, right?
At that time, I can't remember, the DNA came back on the shirt inside the car.
Well, and let's go through that. Because ultimately, when you did do the arrest warrant for murder, you did do an arrest warrant in this case, correct?
I don't remember if I did one for Leroy because he was already in jail.
Your Honor, may I briefly approach the witness?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in that arrest warrant, you lay out your probable cause, correct?
Yes.
And you'd agree with me, in this arrest warrant, and this arrest warrant, I believe, was served on September 11th of 2020. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right.
Okay. In that arrest warrant, you articulate how Mr. Barner was described by Ms. Buckley with the 1993 tattoo, correct?
Correct.
And then ultimately, Ms. Buckley is actually able to pick Mr. Barner out, right?
Yes.
And you articulate that you had received the Florida Department of Law Enforcement records that allege Mr. Whitaker's DNA is inside this car on a T-shirt, correct?
That's correct.
As well as separate FDLE results from the Buckley home suggesting Mr. Whitaker's DNA is inside that house, correct?
That's correct.
And then finally, you articulate Mr. Barner's claim that Leroy Whitaker was not just in that car, but that he was supposedly participating, correct?
That's correct.
And that is what made the difference for you to file for a murder arrest warrant, right?
Yes, at that time.
So basically what she's saying is, you wouldn't have nothing, not a thing, if it wasn't for Dominique Barner. That's basically all she's saying right there. And he's kind of saying, yeah, you're actually right. I wouldn't have as much as I had as soon as I had it if it wasn't for Dominique Barner. But that doesn't mean he wasn't going to get that information either way. But we obviously see what's going on. Just like round 2 from yesterday. These lawyers are not playing with these guys that's coming up here and just throwing people under the bus. They're making it public. Like, yeah, my clients wouldn't be in these situations if it wasn't for these people. And it's like a public shame tactic. It's like, if my clients get messed over because of y'all, it's gonna shame y'all. We're gonna let the whole world know you guys are unloyal snitches. That's exactly what the defense attorneys are doing. But we had a very interesting part of the court date as well. And this is when Ksoo's lawyer decided to cross-examine the detective. He cross-examined him by asking him, do you think my client would be dumb enough to murder somebody and then post about it on social media after? I gotta think for a little second, cause like, this is becoming part of the rap life. It's either catch a body, you know, or be part of catching a body to make a song about it. I don't know if I could too much agree with the lawyer, because that's basically what's going on in rap as of right now. It's like, if you don't talk about what you did, you ain't do it. If you snatch somebody's chain and you don't post the chain on social media, you don't get no cool points. You gotta post it. You gotta risk your freedom. It's basically what you gotta do in the rap game. And to see the detective's face as he's being asked these questions is hilarious.
Let's talk about the posts. The shooter that you interviewed in this case, they covered up their appearance, at least their face, right?
Yes.
There was attempts to evade the police, to run from them, right?
Yes.
There was destruction of evidence. Some stuff was burned, right?
Yes.
You'd agree this is sort of like crime 101. You get away with it, right?
I'm sorry. When you say crime 101, what are you referring to? Burning stuff?
The people that committed this crime, the shooter that covered their face, the people that ran from the cops, the burning of the evidence, the cell phones under other names, those are people trying to protect their identity, to hide it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So about a week later, my client posts on social media about doing something and getting his toes done. Right?
Yes.
And you believe that that's evidence of this murder?
In context of everything else that was posted, yes.
So there's all these attempts to cover up identity, and then he goes out into social media with, how many followers does he have? Hundreds of thousands?
Without looking at his page, I couldn't tell you.
You know that it's a lot.
Yes.
Right. That he then goes out there and confesses? That's your belief, that he everything is done to hide in the moment, and then 5 days later, I'll just confess to the world.
Yes.
That's your belief?
Yes.
All right. Now that statement, and I'm not going to repeat it like the government has a couple times, that statement, that could apply to anything, right?
As far as?
If one of your say the government, one of our witnesses, and they have a riveting cross-examination, I killed him. I killed that witness. Doesn't mean they actually killed him, does it?
No.
Have
Not
you
in
ever
that
heard the
context.
phrase, for some people, I could only hope that someday my life is as interesting as I make it seem on social media. Have you ever heard that?
Can't say I have.
Now, you know that my client's an artist, right?
Yes.
You know from the videos and from the followers, right?
Yes.
Do you have any way of saying that he wasn't just co-opting the life that he saw growing up to sell records?
I can't say that.
Because who else would be stupid enough to post on Instagram, yeah, I just killed a guy, but the person that is trying to sell records to go, you know what? People out there are going to believe it because they don't know it, but I feel secure enough that I'm not going to be charged with this because I know I didn't do it. You understand the question?
Now, if you could repeat it, that'd be great.
Have you ever heard the phrase, you can't be smart and stupid at the same time?
Can't say I have. I haven't heard that one.
Have you ever heard the phrase can't be smart and stupid at the same time? I mean, I ain't heard that phrase before, but like that sound like common sense. Like, I don't think you could be smart and stupid at the same time. Matter of fact, you could actually be stupid smart. And in the mix of this cross-examination, they even had a hostile back and forth when the detective said Ksoo's print was in the car, and if it was him, he wouldn't have his print in a car and then still turn around and diss somebody on the internet. That's something he wouldn't do.
Is there any vehicle that could be tied to Charles McCormick? I can't say. I know you probably can't say as well, but I don't think I would be posting or rapping about something I might have remotely had anything to do with.
Let's go back to the fingerprint now. After you got that fingerprint, you didn't arrest my client, right?
No.
Because it wasn't enough.
No.
You didn't arrest Chifton Hogan,
No.
right? His DNA's in there.
I followed the evidence to verify where they were at that day.
You followed the evidence as far as the fingerprint and then just kept on that track.
The fingerprint and then the DNA when it came back.
The DNA that easily could have been transferred from the shirt that had my client's DNA on it.
I don't know the specifics of how it got on there. I can't tell you that.
Should we save that testimony for the DNA expert?
Yes.
Yo, the detective is clearly fed up with the whole process, man. But I also want to play this last clip that I feel is a key point of today's trial date, and that is the initial officer who once said the suspect could have been slender and around 5'8" to 5'10". He has now completely changed the description.
While you were in the property room, did you see my client, Hakeem Robinson?
Yes.
Did you sit down and have a conversation with him?
Yes, I did.
Now, the case that we have before these juries happens less than right around 12 hours later, 12 to 18 hours later. I want to ask you questions about what my client looked like.
Okay.
Do you remember what his hair looked like?
Somewhat, yeah.
Now, if we can use the gentleman here with the gray suit and the red shirt, would you agree that my client's hair was around the same length, maybe a little bit longer, but twisted?
Correct, yes. I think a little bit longer than that.
It wasn't dreads down to his chin?
No, not at all.
It was consistent with that type haircut where it's trimmed around the edges, twists, maybe a little bit longer,
From what I remember.
but not much longer.
From what I remember, yeah. I can't recall too much, though.
Sergeant, I have two questions for you. You had a conversation for what, maybe about a half hour with my client?
If that, yes.
Would you ever use the word slender to describe Hakeem Robinson?
I would not know.
What about short?
No.
One brief moment, Your Honor.
All right, guys, that wraps it up with day 5. And what I see going on right now, the defense attorneys basically trying to dig themselves out of the hole that they were already in. And I ain't gonna lie, man, this is a battle that's just really gonna go to the end, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how all of this is gonna end up playing out. Guys, we have the verse of the day. Make sure you put WVOTD in the comment section below if this is a verse you needed to hear. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.